Aloha. Good evening. This is Andrew Aloha live out of Flagstaff, Arizona with Spiritual Image Productions on Facebook Live and YouTube, establishing and maintaining right relationships to the human audience. Aloha and welcome to tonight's monthly, weekly, yearly updates, whatever. But anyhow, I only got a little bit of time because tonight's Wednesday. We're doing transmission meditation on the air. Every Wednesday we do the group meditation with whoever joins us. Sometimes I feel like there's several people that join us, and sometimes there's only a few people that join us. And I don't ever know, because with this meditation you can just link up mentally, and you don't ever have to call in. You don't ever have to come over and do this live and in person with me, but you can do this on your own at your convenience, and for as long as you want, sometime during the day or evening. So it's a very user-friendly meditation, but that's besides the point. But anyhow, there's a few things I want to cover, and first of all, I put out a post earlier from the 28th through April 14th, I believe. There's going to be there's virtually no planets that are retrograde. Now, what people don't understand is when there's little friction, I think is a good word. When there's little friction with the planets, then things tend to get kind of mundane, maybe even boring. I don't know. A lot of people might think it's even boring, but there's not a lot of major activity. On the other hand, there's not a lot of violence per se, and people are mellowed out, which is a nice thing. But in terms of getting new creative ideas of stuff going on or whatever, then it's a little bit different. So it's a little bit mellow yellow, but that's fun. So anyhow, in the meantime, once some of the planets start going retrograde again, then you're going to see a lot of action going on. I believe a couple of weeks ago, I don't have my ephemeris with me, but a couple of weeks ago, the Uranus. Actually, last year. Let me go back a little bit. Last year in May, Uranus went into Aries. Taurus. It had been in Aries for about 7 years or so, attributing this to the 7-year itch. So I think virtually everybody on the planet goes through a 7-year itch to some level or another, with Uranus being in whatever sign it is, and then whatever sign it's in, and then that's how it affects you, stronger or weaker or in between. It just varies in terms of what's going on with your astrology chart or whatever. So anyhow, we finished up a 7-year itch. Uranus went into Taurus, and then a few months afterwards, Uranus went retrograde. And so a few weeks ago, Uranus, again, I don't have my ephemeris with me, but Uranus finally went direct again. But in the meantime, Uranus went retrograde, which means it looks like it's going backwards. So everything is going is like doing a slow-mo repeat, but that's the point. So anyhow, Uranus started going back, and then eventually it went back into Aries again, and then it started going direct again. Well, a few weeks ago it went direct, and then last week, I believe, Tuesday or Wednesday, I can't remember one of those days, the Uranus finally went back into Taurus again. So that was around the same time when they had the shooting the mosque shooting out in New Zealand. So that might have been a contributing factor, maybe major, I don't know, but a contributing factor towards that shooting happening. You know, again, people sometimes react to a lot of times. I not just some, but I think a lot of times react and not just act, but react to the energies of the planets. You know, it affects them emotionally or physically or mentally or spiritually in one way or another or whatever, or all the above or combination of the above. And they act out. They do stupid stuff. They'll act. They'll react or act and do something that's different, or the energy hits them really strong, and they'll go out and they'll find a lover, or they'll get drunk, or who knows, they'll go traveling, and all of a sudden out of the blue they go, oh, I'm going to go hiking today, and they just get this whisk, this whirlwind of energy coming through, and they all of a sudden out of the blue they just decide to go hiking because they got hit with that energy. And, they don't really understand that. A lot of people don't understand or realize that. But if you look at the energy of the planets, people, it'll help you it can help you make decisions that could affect you for life, or just important decisions that could affect a lot of people or whatever. But or it might be just time to relax and chill and just enjoy for a little while, until the energy shifts differently to something else or whatever. So it's like that. So anyhow, Uranus went into direct into Taurus. So now we're going to be going through a new 7-year itch officially. Again, it began May, but it went back into Taurus about a week ago or so. And so now this new 7-year itch is going to have to do with grounding. A rebellious nature towards grounding, towards the earth. Anything that has to do with Taurus, to be a rebellious nature towards staying home. Instead of people wanting to stay home, they're going to take off and just go out of the blue. They're just going to go out, or they're going to get jobs that are more manual labor than computer. Just because they're fed up with the office work, and they're going to say screw it, and they're going to go and work in a nursery or whatever. Now it's going to be interesting to see how the jobs are going to be affected, because a lot or most or maybe all, probably all the jobs that have to do with manual labor, with working with your hands, with being physical, with working with the earth, are going to go through shifts. I kid you not. The middle of this energy is going to be, I believe, 2022, like 19, 20, 21, 22, 24, 25, 19, 20, 20, 19, 20, 21. I think it's going to be February 2022, if I remember right. But anyhow, you're going to see. It's going to escalate within the next several months, within the next few years. Probably all the jobs that have to do with manual labor and being physical and working with the earth are going to shift. People are going to rebel. Well, we don't want to do this job, and it's unsafe to do this. So we need to get gloves. We need to get uniforms. We need to get more water, power plants, whatever. I don't know. I'm just putting it out there. Just as an example. But anyhow, you'll see what I'm talking about as things progress. So with this in mind, and I said, Trump is going to have to come up with something really, really, how would you say, maybe spectacular, so he can stay in office. And if he doesn't, then he's probably going to be kicked out of office. Well, this Mueller report is exactly what I'm talking about. Robert Mueller did this investigation. They indicted all these people and all this stuff. And then at the very end, they finally got the subpoena honored by the Trump administration, and all their information went into Mueller, or actually not even all of it, if I remember right. Only the parts that weren't allowed to be made public went to Robert Mueller, and then on top of that, he turns around and doesn't share that with anybody. He like keeps it to himself. Like, what's he hiding? Why? You know, I believe what was the the whole Clinton saga that happened when he was in office. I believe that's when they went through a similar situation, and they made everything public, and I don't know, maybe people were embarrassed by stuff, but you know, that's their stupidity, not ours. So why are they not being professional and being honoring uh, the citizen, the public? That's not cool. So I mean, at the very minimum, so when Clinton went through this ordeal, what was it? They changed a lot of the rulings, a lot of the guidelines, a lot of the law legislation around that, and so that's why Robert Mueller is not sharing all the information with anybody except, and he's keeping it secret. And to me, I find that very, very disturbing. That people are hiding in that way. I think that's a good word, and that's not cool. I mean, I think he should have at least had a committee, appointed a committee, and that committee could have looked at the information with him, and then turn around and then made a decision, a sound decision in terms of whether Trump needs to be indicted or impeached or whatever. And so, you know, the way they did it was very, very flaky, very suspicious, very unprofessional. I believe unprofessional, and not willing to be a leader. You know, they're hiding behind this paperwork, and that's not cool. I think there should have been other people that should have looked at it, not just him by himself. So that was a line of shit. But that's the side point. Anyhow, lately, and I don't know if you don't got your taxes done yet. I encourage you to get them done and just get them resolved and just get it over with, and then just peace of mind. Here in Flagstaff, the weather has been finally. Oh my God, it's starting to get warm. We're getting weather into the 50s now. Woo-hoo! 40s, 30s, 20s. Oh my God. I think I just have to like put a winter coat on my apartment so it'll just be warm in here all the time. Period. But that's what. So anyhow, things are finding. I don't. There's very little snow around here. If you look at San Francisco peaks, I put some posts. If you go to my Instagram account, I put a lot of photos to exemplify a lot of this stuff. But San Francisco peaks is finally starting. The snow is melting. There's still quite a bit of snow up there, but it's melting away. And then here in the Flagstaff area, most or a lot of it is melted away. I don't know that all of it's melted away yet, but I think most of it is. Anyhow, but if you want to come out and hang out here in Flagstaff, of course, weather is perfect. In Sedona, it's great hiking weather. I mean, if you like to hike and stuff, it's perfect right now to go hiking. They typically March and October are the best times to do Sedona because the weather is just awesome. That's just like, it's probably perfect for hiking, and we're barely into April, so it'll probably pretty good hiking weather for the next few weeks, and it's going to start to get hot after that. Anyhow, let me think about this. And I don't know. There's been a lot of weird stuff happening, man. I don't know if Uranus is attributing this attributed to this. Um, Let me see. What was it? Some teacher was fired because, and you know, she sent this. She texted this picture to, and this is in New York. She texted this picture to her boyfriend. And how in the hell did it end up in this phone? How? To begin with, and that's her private life, her business. You know, when she's a teacher, she's a public figure, but when she's at home, that's her person. So why is she getting fired for something that had nothing to do with the school at all? And it was off campus, off the premises. And so I think that the school, if they stay with that what is it, that decision, that I think that they're going to get sued, and I think they're going to lose a lot of money, because I think she's going to win, because they're out of line. They're completely out of line. So that's you know, that's bullshit. So anyhow, and then college students getting you know, taken out, murdered, and all this stuff. I mean, there's a lot of it. You know, now lately, a concoction together. I got some essential oils, and I found one that actually is good for bacteria, clearing the bacteria inside your body system, with lemon oil, eucalyptus oil, peppermint oil, and then tea tree oil, 1 part of each to whatever your you know, the diffuser or whatever you're doing, or however you're putting up it. But I couldn't find my you know, when I moved, I don't know where I put my diffuser, so I have to go find it. But anyhow, and I'll probably have to wait till tomorrow. But I went ahead and put some oil drops in a container of water, and I have it out, and I can it smells pretty good right now. It's not incredibly strong, and so if it works like that, then I think I think I'm going to be in a lot better shape, and especially with all. A few weeks ago, I was in the hospital with the flu and pneumonia again, and I was there. I think I was in the hospital for like 2 days or so, 2 or 3 days. So I'm working with staying clear of all of that crud, all of that shit. But that's different. So anyhow, lately I've been watching some videos on James Gordon. If you go to my Aloha fan page, you'll on Facebook, you'll run across them, and there's some really James, he does this karaoke thing in his car, and with I mean, wow, Paul McCartney, Michelle Obama, I mean, Bruno Mars, who was it? I don't know, Justin Timberlake, but a lot of major public figures, and it's just funny because he enjoys singing, and he actually sings pretty good, and he keeps up with these people, and it's amazing because I don't know how many of these karaoke stints he's done, but several, and he knows every one of the songs. You know, he's just belting them out there with the artist, and the artist will sometimes go, and they're like blown away because he's keeping up with them. So, but you know, he eventually gets them to relax. You know, the artist to relax, and all of a sudden they just start having a good time, and they're, you know, they're cracking up and all this stuff. So if you want to spend an evening, literally an evening with with James Gordon, I think you'll be blown away. I mean, some of these karaoke stints you guys are just out of this world. They're pretty interesting. Anyhow, one of the first movies that and I've watched several already. Um, I did three tiers. The ones that at the very top are the most interesting and probably something you'll want to go check out. And if you want some entertainment for the evening, pick one of those and you'll probably like it. And then there's a middle tier, and they're just some of it's just slapstick and they're funny anyhow, but some and they have some cheesy stuff in it, but they're still enjoyable and interesting. And then the third tier at the bottom are movies like The Dirt, or I think Dirt, the documentary or biography or of Motley Crue, something like that. They beat up people, all this stuff. They're aggressive. They tear down these hotel rooms and all this stuff. And it's almost like a headbanger song or a situation. Where's the and maybe there's a level of creativity, but where's the inspiration behind all that? And there just isn't a lot or any at all. So anyhow, it wasn't incredibly inspiring. At the very end, they decide to become family. So that's the climax of the movie. And so, is that as good as it gets? Whatever. So again, when you watch a movie that has to do with violence and darkness versus light and inspiration and love, usually the light and love and inspiration are much more creative and interesting than not. And there's usually some kind of element that causes problems in all the movies. Anyhow, there has to be some kind of what do I want to say? There has to be some kind of drama in it to make it interesting. And even in the true stories, true movies with movies with this has been based on true events or whatever. There's always some kind of conflict going on, and that's part of the process. But how you overcome that conflict and what you do with that conflict is a whole different ballgame. That's the point. So anyhow, the Green Book was an example of that. Just it was really. I think it got nominated for some Academy Awards. I don't know that it won any. I can't remember. But anyhow, that was a really interesting movie. It was. I think it was last year's movie. Let me see. What did I do with that? Oh, there it is. Viggo Mortensen, Mortensen, Mahershala Ali, Linda Cardellini. Linda Cardellini was in Scooby Doo Doo. I don't know if you ever watched any of those, but she was Velma, I think Velma, and so that was a really good part for her. And even Viggo Mortensen, that was a good part for her. So it was really, and the Viggo Mortensen and Mahershala just they go through this transformation. I think is a good word, and it's actually based on a true story, I believe. So it was very interesting how it all panned out, especially believe back in the '60s or whatever, when there was all this separation, going on, and the blacks had to stay in their own territory, and the whites had to stay in their territory. So it was like that, and it was interesting how music was used instrumental in overcoming all that, but even more so, you think that the people listening to the music, mostly all Caucasians, were the ones having problems, but it was actually the what's his name, Mahershala, that was also discovered he had a thing or two to learn about, a thing or two about adventure. But that's anyhow. The Green Book, Social Animals. Actually, that was an interesting documentary about these three kids in terms of how they became social public figures, and the process that they went through for that. And one or two of them, well, one of them, she went through a dramatic ordeal in high school, and she literally had to. She had what's her name? I'll tell you right now. Hang on a second. I think it was Emma Crockett. I think it was Emma Crockett that she went through an ordeal, and she went through some drama, and she ended up having to go to another school. So she literally nixed 86 her whole account, and then started all over. And then things got a lot better at the new high school that she went. But it in this day and age, when I was growing up, we were, if we got bullied at all, it'd be by somebody in person, right? Right there live. I mean, literally when I was a kid, some colored guy. I don't know how you want what the social norm is, but this guy, this black guy, kid, punches me out of the blue. He just punches me in the mouth. What's your problem, dude? So, and for no reason. I mean, this guy was like, and I don't know what happened to him, but I can almost guarantee you that his karma is definitely due, one way or another, or coming to him, or already came to him. But anyhow, there was another guy by the name of Hamza Diaz, who was a photographer, and this guy made it big. I mean, wow. The photographs he took, he climbed to really, really, really tall buildings and shot down, and something that nobody ever really did, or at all, virtually hardly at all. So there were some interesting shots, and even if you go to his Instagram account, you can see some really interesting shots that he's taken. So it's just interesting to if you're an artist, you can appreciate that. And then Kaylin Slevin, she was more of this what you call it, Barbie doll type of girl, young short Barbie doll, and she's got, she already knows what she wants to do with her life, and her dad, I guess her dad is a successful salesman selling cars, I believe. So anyhow, she learned from him the technique of doing sales, and as sales. So I think, for the most part, anybody can do sales if you want to. It might take longer to learn for some people than others, but it's a craft, it's a skill that you can learn, and it's just a matter of wanting to do it and doing it, and having the guts to go forward and prosper, right? That's exactly right. So anyhow, that was a very interesting documentary, and which I really enjoyed just watching, because it was, and that's some of the stuff that you probably do. A lot of people, and it's like the latest thing, within the last several years that people are still learning to do social media marketing and so forth. But that's so anyhow, the Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants. That came out, when was it? 2008. That's actually an older movie. Amber Tamblyn, America Ferrera, Blake Lively, Alexis Bledel, and they actually, that's the second movie they've done. I think the first one was in 2005, but these girls finding each other, finding themselves, and becoming women. For men, the process of being indoctrinated, I guess that's a good word too, into manhood is different for women. And so you see this process, and of course there's always the conflict, right? So one girl becomes pregnant, and another girl breaks up with a boyfriend from the last movie, and finds another boyfriend, and then she becomes Christian, christened, I guess is a good word, into womanhood, and at the very end, but that's besides the point. So anyhow, that's just a romantic comedy type of thing, and of sisterhood. If you want to check that out, and it's always interesting to watch how women develop and grow, and that's ongoing, throughout your whole life, no matter who you are. The developmental process is ongoing forever and ever. Amen. That's the other point. So anyhow, the Jane Austen book club. I just watched that this morning. It was interesting. I've never read any of the Jane Austen books, but there's all this female testosterone. I think that's a good word going on, and there's actually these six people, 5 women, and then 1 guy that are in this club, and they read all these books, and then they discuss them, and all this stuff, all this conflict, all this drama happens in between. And the end, I don't know, the end was kind of cheesy. All of a sudden, all these couples come together, blah blah blah, and at the very end, a couple that divorced, I think they got back together, and or separated or something. I don't know, but it's these couples, these partners finding each other. I think that really makes the statement for this movie. So and a lot of it, I think all these people finding each other had to do with reading these Jane Austen books. If they hadn't read the Jane Austen books, they probably wouldn't have found each other, or whatever. So I don't know. Saving Mr. Banks, about and it just came out, the latest Mary Poppins with Emily Blunt. I haven't watched that movie yet, but and I don't know if I want to watch it, because I think I've seen enough Mary Poppins movies, but I might watch it later on if I have nothing better else to do. I don't know. It's probably good. I don't know. With the way you can do special effects these days and all this stuff, it's probably more interesting than some of the older Mary Poppins. But anyhow, Saving Mr. Banks is about the author of Mary Poppins, and how let's see, when was this? Oh, there it is. Yeah, Emma Thompson, Tom Hanks, Colin Farrell. 2013. It was done. It was released. And it's interesting because Emma Thompson, her character, wants she's out of England, I believe, and she's low on cash, and yet she really doesn't want to let go of the book and of the rights to the movie, right? And finally, she has to heal the pain, the wound that had to do with the relationship between her and her father. And so finally that happens, and she's able to move on, and then finally let go and release the movie rights, so it can be produced. So, and I believe that was, I can't remember if that was based on a true event or not. I'm not 100%, but I think it was. Anyhow, Rock the Kasbah. Oh my God, that's a funny movie. Hang on, where's it at? Oh, there is Bill Murray, Kate Hudson, Zoe Deschanel, 2015. Oh my God! And if Bill Murray's in a movie, it's got to be funny. So that was an interesting movie, especially if you appreciate music and you like traveling overseas. You know, um, just people can be very intent. They can be very arrogant, and especially when there's a language barrier going on and all this stuff. So it can be pretty interesting. So anyhow, that's a funny movie to watch if you want to just watch some some stuff about music, about travel, and so forth, and other cultures. If you're a Sagittarius, you'll probably like this, but that this movie, but that's Blue Jasmine. Wow. Kate Blanchett, Alec Baldwin, Andrew Dice Clay. Kate Blanchett, that was an interesting movie. I think that won some Academy Awards. I can't remember. 2013, Blue Jasmine. That was an interesting movie for Kate Blanchett, and you know you know the two sisters grow up together. They're foster kids, and they both live very different lives. She's very wealthy and well-to-do, and but she's a snob, and in a sense, I'm pretty sure um, she's a snob, and then the sister, the younger sister, you know, she gets by on I think she's a hairdresser if I remember right. But anyhow, but she's making she's getting making her money and she's got the boyfriend and and then and then all of a sudden everything just falls apart and so Kate Blanchett ends up I think she ends up she didn't get divorced. I don't remember if she got divorced. I think she did, but anyhow, the husband ends up, Alec Baldwin ends up in jail or in prison, and then I believe he kills himself or something like that, and then so Kate Blanchett is stuck sucking wind. So now she goes to the sister and stays with the sister, and then that's when the real drama begins. But that's the other point. Anyhow, um, that's a very kind of an intense movie, very dramatic and in a way kind of disturbing. In that Kate Blanchett's character is just very ungrounded. Let's put it that way. So a very interesting movie if you want to see some major drama going on. Let me see what else do we got. Legally Blonde with number one. I watched number two the last time, and you know what's her name? Reese Witherspoon, Luke Wilson, Selma Blair, Ali Larter. You know, Reese Witherspoon is good for a laugh. So and, you know, it's like telling one of those blonde jokes. You know, not to be rude or anything, but just like telling one of those blonde jokes. You know, that's really funny. It's like watching a movie. The whole movie is kind of like that, but that's besides the point. So, but in the end, she proves that she's not stupid. That's for sure. So let me see. All about Nina. This with let me see. 2018. That was last year. Mary Elizabeth Winstead and Common. Nina is stand-up comedian, and she lives her life through comedy. And even though she has her own personal life, she has all these one-night stands. She can't she can't she can't fathom being in a relationship because of the stuff she grew up with. So finally, towards the end, um, she kind of gets it together and she she makes she makes sense of her life and she moves on. So um, that was kind of an interesting movie. Axel about a dog, a mechanical dog. You know, I've watched some YouTube videos on all these time travelers, and Several of them, in fact, all of them, the ones that I watched, are saying that they're going to legalize time travel in 2028, and you're going to be able to, like kind of like go on vacation. Oh, I want to go to the Bahamas in 1963, and boom, you're gone, and then you come back, and it's a done deal. But there's going to be a whole commercialization apparently of time travel in 2028. So and then these, but anyhow, they're also saying that in time travel that people and I don't know how this is going to happen, what's going to go on with it, but I don't know that it's going to be bad or good, but apparently it's like the Terminator, and then maybe this is where they got these ideas from. You have they have these humans that are half robot and half human. So eventually, humans are going to be integrated completely with artificial intelligence, and they're going to be one. And so you're going to have these RoboCops going on, all this stuff. So I don't know how true that's going to be, and if it is true, what if that's going to look like, and if that's going to be good or bad, and if we're going to lose our souls. I mean, are we going to lose our souls because of that? I don't think so, but that could be a possibility. All kinds of stuff going on. So anyhow, that's kind of like what Axel was all about. The same thing. They mechanicize. They make a dog into out of robot as a robot, completely robotic, and this guy discovers him, and all this stuff happens. Blah blah. The interesting present concepts of science and technology is mostly what I got out of that, and that was kind of interesting. So, it was somewhat cheesy, but it was interesting. So anyhow, dead in a week, or you're moving back, kid to kill himself. It's funny. There's a couple of cheesy parts in it, but it's funny. And he he finally hires a hitman to kill him. Right? Hey dude, I've been trying to kill myself 10 times already. It hasn't happened yet. I don't know what's going on. So he finally hires a hitman, and then the hitman almost comes close to killing him. And then he finds this, it's one of those romantic comedies. He finds a girlfriend. Finally finds a girlfriend who's a book publisher, editor, or something like that. And then all of a sudden he wants to live. And then the end was kind of funny. Was interesting. So anyhow, I won't give that away, but that's kind of fun. Dead in a Week. Let me see. What was that? That was in 2017. Tom Wilkinson, and Newson Bernard, Freya Maver, in that movie. But that's let me see. So I'm gonna get to a couple more of these, and then I gotta head out. Get ready for transmission meditation. The Highwaymen with I think that was last year, yeah, 2009. Oh, this year, 2019. Kevin Costner, Woody Harrelson, Kathy Bates, about Bonnie and Clyde, and the what do I want to say? The patrolman, not the patrolman. Actually, the Rangers. I believe it was the Texas Rangers. And I believe this was based on a true event. But instead of the show being about Bonnie and Clyde, it's about the Rangers that finally took them down, and it was interesting. So, and that was that was drama going on. A lot of blood and gore. I think if you don't like blood, you may not want to watch it. But National Lampoon's Animal House. Netflix. They're really the choices they have is lame. But anyhow, National Lampoon's House, and also a lot of their movies the sounds in their, you know, the movies that are produced by Netflix, the sound quality really sucks on a lot of those movies. But that's besides the point. National Lampoon's Animal House. You know, John Belushi. It was interesting. And this was an old movie, 1978. John Belushi, Karen Allen, Tim Matheson, Kevin Bacon, and I believe that was Kevin Bacon's first movie that he started out with. Donald Sutherland, John Vernon. It was just very interesting. You know, the movies from the old days. So many times they're just a lot more interesting because they're a lot more present. I believe that, you know, people are more present in their acting, in the dialogue and all kinds of stuff. So I believe that a lot of the movies are just better all the way around because they're just more interesting. And even though this is slapstick comedy, you know, you know, you just gotta laugh. There's just a lot of laughs in that movie. That's another one. Winter's Bone. With Jennifer Lawrence and John Hawke. And that was one of Jennifer Lawrence's. I don't think it was her first movie, but it was, you know, when she was younger. Interesting movie. She was 17 years old in this movie, and the dad gets in jail for whatever reason, and then the mom is, of course, sick. She's just not with it anymore, and so she's on meds, and she can't function. So Jennifer Lawrence, her character ends up being the mom for the brother and the sister, the little brother and the sister and little sister, and so she has to go through all this saga, finding out what's going on with the father and so forth, or they're going to lose the house. So the ending was I think kind of nice, but it was kind of horrific too. But that's another one. So anyhow, let me see. Turn Up Charlie. This DJ. Let me see. Hang on a second. Turn Up Charlie. See, now I'm singing from James Corden karaoke, so he's got me singing now. But that's another one. Idris Elba, Piper, per Robbo, J.J. Field. But Idris, you know, he's like a famous DJ, and then all of a sudden he gets something happens. I don't remember what, but I think he's heavy into drugs and alcohol, and he loses himself, and so he ends up having to be a nanny for this little girl who actually is pretty talented and pretty funny. And then the mom, but the mom, and the mom is also a famous DJ. So anyhow, there's a whole thing that goes on. They go through this mirage of events, and finally he ends up getting back into the program, but he ends up having to lose the alcohol and the drugs in order for that to happen. And he finally makes that realization and does it. So, you know, I got a few more minutes, and actually about a couple more minutes, but the Dirt again with Motley Crue, the single with Olivia Cook, Lawrence Fishburne, Bo Knapp. That was 2014. The Cobbler with what's his name? Adam Sandler, Dustin Hoffman, and Ellen Martin. Now that was actually kind of interesting, but I don't know. Maybe there's some cheesy parts in there too. Budapest was kind of cheesy. Seven Chinese Brothers. I mean, the only thing they mention about Chinese Brothers is there's a song at the very end that's called Seven Chinese Brothers. What? well, it didn't make any sense. But anyhow, OA is actually a television series. The first part was interesting, and the way they set it up and the content and the mystery and all this stuff. And then they did part two, and then I think I got into the second or third episode, and it was like, what the hell is going on? All of a sudden, it's becoming confusing. They're scattered. Their stories are going everywhere, and it's not making any sense. And so finally, I just said, I'm not watching anymore. So that's enough of that. So man, that's really smelling good. That stuff they put together. So anyhow, it's about time to get going for the transmission meditation. I got to get going for that. So if you got any questions, you can call, write, text, email, whatever. And in the meantime, there's just April is going to be probably busy for a lot of people, I think. So just hang in there, just have fun, whatever. I still got plans. I'm working with some hypnosis stuff and some radio show stuff, but I still have to wait. I got to get my taxes done. So see you later. I got to go. Bye. Ciao. Have a good God got us hump day.